What's up, guys? It's your boy DB back with another video, this time covering all the news that I haven't had a chance to actually hit yet. We got Kenobi's ship, we've got the Acklay, and a bunch more stuff that was announced on the Escape podcast. With me today is my buddy Zylo, Takedown Games.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Should be a good video. I've been waiting to work with you for quite a while, mate. So let's get on with this video, I suppose. Let's do this. Okay, the first bit of news that came out and caught me by surprise, as usual, I'm always late with these videos because it happens at like 2 a.m. my time, was Kenobi's getting a capital ship, the Negotiator. It's an offense-based ship, probably going to be a legendary, although that's not actually been confirmed to my knowledge, and has synergy with Anakin's ship, which, I mean, that's kind of expected, right? Anakin and Kenobi and all. What do you think of this, dude?
Yeah, I'm really excited for the Negotiator. I'm really excited to get some more capital ships in the game finally in general, and especially a way to revise and resurface these Galactic Republic ships, especially the ETA-2, right? Like, as soon as Anakin's ETA-2 was released, it didn't have a home. It was a great ship to utilize in plenty of other lineups, but now he's actually going to have his star ship lineup, and he's going to be utilized to his max ability finally, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it too. Everyone on my channel knows I'm a huge Anakin fan, and I actually found the ship to 5-star like immediately, just in case some sort of legendary came up that would need him. But like you said, I've got the ship, and I got nowhere to really use it right now. I mean, we had Mace timeout for what, like a flash of a second, and
yeah, then the Falcon, right? It just pops up out of nowhere.
Exactly, just came up and boom, that was gone in like in a heartbeat. But I just don't get to use the ship at all. So I'm hoping it's obviously going to have a really key place. Would you reckon though, is this going to be PvP related, or do you think it's going to be really more geared towards some sort of like special mission in the light side version of Geonosian territory battles?
Well, I definitely think it'll be focused towards PvP. I mean, it's going to have its cause and effect in PvE with the territory battles and everything, of course, like the Chimera being required for the special mission, and it's more of a precedence to introduce the ship, right, for that reason. But I really think they're also trying to shake up the meta again as well, because the Falcon's been around for quite some time now, pressing on a year, and it's just... it needs some competition. It needs something that's not a soft counter, and I think this is a great way to introduce that, not just with the Negotiator, but bringing the ETA-2 to life.
Yeah, I agree, because at the moment the fleet is stale. I love fleet, but it's so stale, and pretty much every reliable counter to the Falcon needs another Falcon. And you know, I've used the whole permission granted team. I used the Hound Silencer team, but they're nowhere near as effective as just having your own rebel fleet, or even sticking Falcon with like Thrawn or something like that. So yeah, I'm really hoping this will shake things up. I hope it doesn't just flat out replace Falcon and then everyone has to have this team and we go right back to the same situation. I hope it just gives us a bit of variation there, personally.
Yeah, I think with the introduction of possibly like what was data mined back when the GMY Starfighter, right? Maybe a possibility to introduce that here down the road, and some similar mechanics to the Falcon, right? Like, that's the hardest thing about the Falcon meta, is that it's so RNG based because of the amount of assists that the Falcon does and does not call, right? Like, so maybe some way to introduce that to kind of match it, right? And then you have two diverse teams right there.
Yeah, that would be absolutely great. I'd love to see Yoda bring a ship in. And pretty much every single Jedi has a ship, so get them in the game, get their ships in the game, and let's bring some variation to this. That's what I'm really hoping. However, saying that, and with the Negotiator coming, I'm a little concerned that it's kind of a distraction, because prestige is not that easy to come by unless you're an endgame player and you finished the store and you've got huge stocks of it. Because Carrie actually mentioned on the Escape podcast about, well, hinted at Grievous's the Malevolence coming to the game, and with Dark Side territory battles coming first for Geonosis, I get the feeling we're going to need to save the prestige for his ship.
Yeah, I totally agree, and then the same goes for the Geonosian Brood Alpha, which we'll cover more, I'm sure. And I think that both of these are a distraction, and again, you want to keep in mind that, like you just said, Darkside TV is coming first.
Yeah.
So you want to utilize those mechanics first, and whatever else falls into suit, you can work on then, right? I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Like you said, with the Prestige, I'm sitting on about 3,000 myself, but it costs 1,900 to fully max a ship. So
Yeah.
you have to be really careful with what abilities you're utilizing and maxing right now, and be mindful that there's 2 of these capital ships inbound, right?
Exactly. I mean, I'm seeing people now, you know, Shaq T's just come out, they're like, oh my god, I got gear up and spend all these cryotechs and all that. And I'm thinking, but you're going to need really good Separatists, dude. And right now you're sat on like a Gear 4 Droidica. You should probably be prioritizing your Separatists first, because we don't even know when the light side one's coming. I hope it's coming really, really soon. But for all we know, it could be, you know, 2 or 3 months away.
Yeah, I mean, same precedents happened for Hoth, right? I mean, it took a few months before we got the dark side skin, and I feel like even though they're pushing this intro for dark side TV first, it doesn't mean that it's going to make light side relevant or irrelevant, right? I mean, working on Shock T, if you need her for that event, makes sense, but again, you're going to need dark side first. So I mean, like the new marquee mega packs, the $25.99 for Shock T. I was going to start investing in those right away, but then, like you mentioned, Darkside TV's coming first, so maybe it makes more sense to invest in the Geo Brood Alpha with those resources first, and then come back to Shock T. Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as I got like everything prepped for Darth Malik, I immediately started gearing my Separatists, because I thought, not only do I need to get Padme 7 star anyhow, with Darkside coming, I've got to have a team that can actually, you know, survive a battle, because at the time they were like all Gear 7 and stuff. I've actually taken Grievous to 12. B2 goes to 12 today. I've got Zeta on my B1. I'm trying to bring that team up, because if I'm going to go into the new Geonosis territory battles with no Separatist whatsoever, I'm bound to be caught out on special missions and the such like that, and it's going to hurt the guild overall. So I think that's where people should be focusing, and I agree with the Geonosian Brood Alpha. He's really where you're going to need to put these new resources, rather than necessarily on Shaq T immediately.
And I mean, those new paywall gear pieces don't come cheap, and they don't come fast, right? Even with double drops. Double drops of 0 is still 0.
Exactly that. I've actually not even been farming the cryotech pieces in this double drop. I've got so many stun guns I need anyhow, so I'm like, I'll just get on with that, because as you said, you know, 2 times 0 is still 0, and that's my luck when it comes to these cryotech pieces anyway. I just have to buy them with my arena crystals.
Yeah, I've been doing a newer method, just to trying to save some crystals. So I'll buy the 25 for each piece first, and then round up the rest of the pieces with my energy. But I'm also sitting on the back end where I'm only farming the Emperor's Command Shuttle and you know, farming gear with energy, basically. So
I haven't got around to farming Emperor's Shuttle yet. It's probably one of the only pieces in the whole game I don't have. I was just so underwhelmed with its release and all the testing I did, and with the whole Separatist era and stuff going on right now, I just don't see it being urgently needed. But I know for a fact I'm gonna end up getting caught out, and I'll need it for something I won't have it for. Always the way.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those ships that are just like meh.
Yeah. Also, though, with territory battles going on, we were actually touching on Geonosian Brood Alpha there. He's going to have some bonuses up against the new Acklay that's coming to the game as well. It's supposed to be some sort of like freeway battle. I hear we got Jedi in there as well that are also fighting the Acklay as well as us. And it's going to be kind of some like freeway war, which is quite interesting. But yeah, with Geonosian Brood Alpha having bonuses, we're likely going to need him powered up to actually beat the thing.
Yeah, and think like Night Sister Zombie, when you have to get her up to gear 10 to use her revive mechanic properly. Think Geo Brood Alpha with the same thing with the summoning aspect, right? Like, he's going to need some investment to do his summoning abilities and make them valuable. And I mean, you're going to need him to have some big cause and effect, because he's the leader of the Geo team now, and it's gonna be a gear check. That's what it's gonna come down to in the end of this new TB. Everything's gonna be, you know, stretching, biting your nails right at the end of the day here, and splitting hairs trying to beat these missions. So, and like you said, the three-way aspect, I like the idea of it, because it sounds like you're getting to utilize 2 different squads at once while you're fighting the Acklay,
Yeah.
right? Maybe something like that. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, my only concern is obviously if the Jedi are AI controlled, that both of them kind of turn on us and we got to face it all. That'd be a little uncomfortable. That'd be my luck. But
Challenge accepted.
Geo Brood Alpha, as soon as I heard it, I was pretty excited for this. And I think you're right. I think it'll be a case of really high gear needed to actually summon these hive mind characters that will come in with it, the Geonosian zombies and such. Otherwise, people are going to keep it low gear, like that, because everyone tries to keep things as low as they possibly can. Yeah, so that'll probably be a gear 10 thing. And I'm excited for this character because Geonosians have been incredibly substandard, and if I've got to power them up for the sake of this territory battle, then I want some sort of use for them, because I never got around to using them in fleet. Did you?
Oh, I mean, I had a little insight help from Warrior in the Jedi Academy with the Geonosian Gamers, and when Ships 2.0 was about to surface, Warrior hyped the Geos so much. I was like, you know what, I'll take them to gear 11. Let's do it. I want to be prepared for what's next, and I'm still benefiting from it to this day, right? I mean, like, here we are getting this new TB, we're getting a new Geo leader. It also sounds like a boss-esque type leader for the Geos, so I'm stoked. I mean, you're getting the investment out of the ship long term, definitely, and now with this new faction and new leader, it's just, I'm excited. I can't wait to actually get the value out of these guys. I love Spy, I love Soldier. They do some great damage and have great synergy. I love Sunfac as a tank in general and as a character, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm the same. Sunfac was one of the original arena team members when I first got started in the game. It's like, I need a good tank, and then I stumbled across him due to some of my my Twitch stream viewers, and they were like, and I found out, not only does he remove buffs, he can heal himself, and he counters, and he taunts, and I was like, whoa, this is a great kit, especially for back then. So I'm hoping because Carrie also mentioned a Geonosian Rework, and I'm hoping he's going to get even more of a buff and become an even more important character. Poggle is the one I feel that really does need the rework, though, because poor Poggle, man.
Yeah.
All the others have a use, like with Fleet, and I mean, Sunfac is a great ship. That's really, really good for countering the Falcon. And Geonosian Soldier was a big part of a Fleet team that both me and you had run before. So it was like, what about Poggle? What use does he have? I really hope he gets a serious rework.
I definitely see it too, because I mean, the core 3 pilot Geos, it could use some tweaking, right? They don't need major reworks, but Poggle, poor Poggle, man, he keeps falling through the cracks and he keeps getting neglected, and now he's getting his leadership nullified, and he's going to be the backup leader now. So you definitely got to give Poggle some love, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping, because right now when it comes to Geonosians, I'm like, there's no point running Poggle, and I put Dooku as their leader instead. So it's like that's how useless Poggle is towards that team right now. He's like, we need a 5th member, just use Poggle because I'm using the other separatists elsewhere. He bad needs that rework. He has no ship. Come on, CG, please give him some love.
He does deserve it, right? I mean, he's one of the original separatist leaders, right?
Exactly. He's one of the original only leaders that we had, so they got to give him some love.
Please.
Also mentioned on the Escape podcast was that more Old Republic characters are going to be coming to the game. She did say not like now, not anytime soon. It's on the back burner. But what are your thoughts on this?
I was one of the few players I'd say that was, kind of like, why are we backing away from KOTOR right now, right? Like, I remember Carrie said something about Revan redeemed and a neutral Revan, but they felt like introducing that after Jedi Knight Revan and Darth Revan, it was going to be a little more overwhelming, right? I mean, like, we already have 2 Revans rocking the top of the meta, and a 3rd would definitely be kicking some other players in the teeth. And I'm happy that they dulled down for the player base, but I would have loved to see more KOTOR content. There's plenty more down the road. There's a lot more things that were left untouched, and like the Ebon Hawk being the only Old Republic ship, and we want an Old Republic capital ship. We want a lot of things for the Old Republic. We were talking about before the recording Calo Nord. I love Calo Nord. I love the bounty hunters in general. So, I mean, there's a lot to want, right? And I mean, there's a lot that they can still do.
There's a ton that hasn't been touched on. I totally get why they backed away from it a bit, because it was a better part of a year or so, possibly even longer than that the game was pretty much entirely driven by the Old Republic era. 2 Revan metas, and then if they released a third Revan meta to follow, I think Reddit would have rioted, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I mean, like you said, it took precedence for a little over a year, because when Solo launched last May, it kind of stepped in with its big toe in Bastila and was like, hello, we're the Old Republic, you know what I mean? Like, it cut them completely off. So
yeah, a lot of people that hadn't played KOTOR before, or read any of the books from the Old Republic era, to them I suppose it just wasn't remotely exciting either.
Well, yeah, it didn't have a special place in their hearts, right? Like, and then there's new characters that some people aren't even aware of or familiar with. And I was a big fan of KOTOR growing up, and
Same.
It addicted a lot of my time away, but well worth and well spent. And once you kind of have the same feeling about those characters as you did like with the original trilogy or the prequel characters, you understand why Revan is so awesome and has such a big impact in the game, and why he is who he is. His ideology is very unique in the Star Wars universe, and there's no story like it. I always tell the missus he kind of reminds me of Jedi Jesus, right?
Yeah, I mean, the KOTOR era for me it's actually what got me into Star Wars in the first place. I'd seen like 1 or 2 of the prequel films because my younger brothers had them, and it was like, well, what games do they have for Star Wars? And I stumbled across Knights of the Old Republic. I was like, wow. And it's actually what hooked me and made me a hardcore fan. But there's so much left to cover. I mean, we don't really have any of the light side characters for KOTOR 2. No Meecha Surik, none of them lot. Then outside of the games, there's the likes of Darth Bane and so many major important characters that are not only canon, but have a huge effect on Star Wars as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, like, and a lot of the characters that we have in game right now, like even like Traya, for example, like her Kreia alternate background, and I mean, there's so much of like the ideology and the dark side alone too. Like, they love the dark side from CG's aspect, but they have a hard time telling the story. Well, you can easily, introduce a new batch of KOTOR dark side marquees and just stick with the dark side with that for a while. Because look at like both the Revan events, right? Like, you needed a full light side team for Jedi Knight Revan, and then you needed a mixture of the 2 for Darth Revan, which everybody was kind of like, look, how are you going to do this? What is this? So leading into like a dark side maybe would be the best way to transpire. And all the characters from that era, from the dark side, are just like, wow.
Yeah, I think when it comes to like the Sith faction and stuff, there'll be a lot of power they can soak up from the Old Republic era, because obviously there wasn't just one, there was like entire armies of them. So there's so much they could do for that faction there.
I mean, the Emperor alone, the Emperor Vitiate, is going to be something huge to let a lot of extra, filler characters for the Sith Empire, and marquee characters in general, and a way to kind of build that faction and build on these characters as well.
Yeah, there's an absolute ton they can cover, and I'm looking forward to that coming back. But at the same time, I'm really happy that we're getting the Clone Wars era right now, and no doubt when it comes to November, it's all going to shift again towards Resistance and First Order. I've actually been slowly gearing and remodding my First Order because they are like heavily neglected for me. How are yours?
Yeah. Oh, I love the First Order. Kylo Ren has a special place in my heart. He's one of my faster characters too, for sure. Like the original Masked Kylo Ren, because now he's the engine-esque character of that team, and I'm really excited for the movie because it could hopefully make them relevant again. Or I've even talked about maybe a possible Episode 9 raid. I mean, like, if you look at all the raids that we have era-wise, you got the Rancor from the Old Republic, you've got the clones from the HAAT, and then you've got the original trilogy, or I'm sorry, the Triumvirate, for the Old Republic. So an Episode 9 raid would be awesome, and a raid reward like Kylo Ren, or something to reach for again would be awesome.
Yeah, I'd be totally up for that. They did mention, it may have been CG Top Hat, I'm not 100% sure, but they mentioned in the developer Q&A that around the time, because it can't be happening now, but after Territory Battles, towards the time of the 9th movie, that we should possibly see a new raid. So that would tie in quite nicely with that, in fact.
Yeah, and it'd be a good way for them to set up new content around what's going on in episode 9, and a way that they can do it without leaking the movie, right? Like,
Yeah.
so you start releasing the characters, you start letting the plot develop, letting everybody see the movie, and then boom, episode 9 raid, and it had a partial ship feature in there too, hopefully, like they mentioned in that post.
Yeah, they did.
They'd have that, so it'd be cool.
That would be great. There's got to be a way to bring ships in, and that's probably the best way to bring some more value to that mode, because at the moment, outside of the occasional Grand Arena battle and Fleet Arena itself, ships don't really have a large like aspect of the game, and nowhere for them to really be heavily involved. So I would love to see a raid bring some importance to them and actually take it away from the meta, bring some sort of theory craft into ships.
Well, and then another thing too is, like, if you look at other games, like you have your PvP teams and then you have your raid teams, right? Like,
Yeah.
so when you go over and you're building a ship's raid team, maybe not all the same ships that you're using in the meta makes sense for a raid team, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly
it gives you more incentive. Yeah, it gives you more incentive to you work on more ships teams and reinforcement mats and omega abilities, everything.
Yeah, fingers crossed that happens. So that's about it for this video, guys. Thanks for coming on, Zylo. It was a blast to finally work with you, mate.
Yeah, brother, I love hanging out with you. I love chatting with you. I love your work. And if you haven't already, I mean, you better subscribe to DB Official 125, guys.
I agree with that. And check out Takedown Games. He's also here on YouTube. Check out his channel. I'll put a link in a pinned comment and in the whole description thing for the video as well. So make sure you check out his channel, throw him a subscription too. And until next time, guys, we out of here.